married and then a loved one moves in that you have to care for. Well, it can do a number on your relationship. But in today's edition of Caregiving 101, Starr Calo-oy is here to tell us about how you can accommodate both you and your spouse. Starr, welcome back, our caregiving expert. Thank you for being here. You never leave any stone unturned when it sort of comes to the whole aspect of caregiving. Let's talk about this whole relationship with caregiving and sort of your spouse, how your partner's involved.
Well, you're going along your life and you've got your family, you've got your teenagers in the household. You think you've got everything under control. Then one of your parents falls ill.
Yes.
You find that you have to, your whole life seems to go upside down, and you move your mom in. But your dad is still well, for example. And your dad is feeling depressed because of the thought he can't take care of mom. And he's taken care of her for over 50 years, for example. But now he can't do it anymore, and he's feeling depressed. So you and your husband get together and talk, and your husband and your children agree to move your dad in too.
This can be a tricky situation to start, especially when if you have a marriage that is working.
Yes.
It sort of begs the question: what now are our roles with your mom, my dad, and that can be tricky.
Absolutely. Well, you think to yourself, well, when for example, a daughter. She was growing up and she had rules that her dad enforced in the household, and she had to obey the rules. So now you've got boundaries you have to set in your own household as the daughter with your father coming to live, and it's kind of topsy-turvy and it makes you feel kind of awkward and uncomfortable, but you must set boundaries.
What are some of the things, Starr, that you can begin to do? Because first of all, usually when there's a caregiving situation, you don't plan for that kind of thing. It sort of happens unexpectedly. What do you sort of begin to do with a partner? How do you sit down and map it out?
Exactly. What you do is you first want to sit down with your own spouse. Would you mind if we took Dad in also? What do you think about that? Would that be all right with you? He's feeling so depressed. He's feeling he can't afford to even drive across town anymore. It's not safe for him to drive. What do you think about the idea of doing that? If your spouse is agreeable, then sit down with the children. Many times you've got teens in the the sandwich generation and so on and so forth. So you're going to want to sit down with the teenagers, and of course they're not going to make the ultimate decision, but you want to include them in so there's no strife later on. So talk to everybody. Once everything looks very agreeable, then talk to your dad or your mom and invite them to come and stay for a season. It's very hard to leave your home. Very, very difficult. Can you imagine leaving your home? But say, Dad, listen, for example, Dad, we would love to have you come and stay. Make it a fun thing and exciting,
especially
a
now with
positive
the holidays coming up.
That's
you said we want you around. We want you to be a part of us.
Yes, and we want you to help us with the kids. We'd love for you to share your wisdom with the children. So that's what you want to do, is include them. You want to make sure that in making accommodations, the bedroom, for example, the bedroom that they occupy, do your parents get along well enough for them to live together, first of all? If they don't, do you have room for your dad to stay in a separate room? You've got to see, what the family dynamics are. And if you haven't lived with your mom and dad over the last year, you don't really know how they get along or not.
And isn't it true, Starr, that once you become adult, you sort of develop your own ways of living, your own living style?
Yes.
I'm interested in knowing what sort of happens, in the relationship between a man and a woman when you are trying to give that relationship time versus time with that parent who really needs it.
That's right. And you have to watch your time management. Honey, it's going to take me more time now to take care of my parents. Can you help me with that so we can be together in the caregiving? We can be together while we do this. And are you going to be able to understand that I'm going to have to do this? Are you able to take care of both parents? That's another thing you have to consider. But Bridget, if I had something to say to our viewers, more important than anything that I could say today would be how you treat your parents is what you're sowing into your children, how they're going to treat you when you get older.
I absolutely believe that.
You really have to be careful. Oh, we're not going to take care of mom. We're too busy with our life. We don't have any time. Let's put her in the nursing home.
Yes.
Are you teaching your children to put you in the nursing home?
Right. And you know what? You see it time and time again. I've been to nursing homes to visit people, and the person next door hasn't seen a child in 6, 7 years.
Exactly.
And it's unthinkable.
In the same city.
It's unthinkable. It's unthinkable. Let me ask you about this. What do you do, because there inevitably is going to be conflict. How do you sort of do conflict resolution when everybody's in the house and everybody's getting under everybody's skin? What do you do with that?
Well, you agree ahead of time to call a strife break.
Oh, okay.
Okay. When things start getting really hot and heated, what we're going to do, one of our members of our family is going to say, strife break, strife break. That means everybody is totally silent. Let's be very quiet. And then the person who's called the strife break starts to sort this out quietly and calmly.
Because that's the only way you do it.
Prayer really helps tremendously.
That's the only way you do it.
It really does. A refrigerator, microwave in the room, separate beds, futon bed. These things are really important. We have all the tips in our book.
Wonderful. Okay, great. Yeah. And again, Caregiving 101 with Starr and Bob Calo-oy is happening on KKYX 680 AM on Saturday mornings, I should say, from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. The phone number to call in if you have a question you want to ask, 210-521-8668, caregiversadvice.net.